Bethanne, when I asked you to do this conversation with me about your journey, what came up for you?
I think the key was finally getting rid of the whole imposter syndrome and how he did it. I mean, it definitely cycles through. You have to come around and come around, but I couldn't have done it with the actual self love, self compassion. People talk about it all the time, throw it around like, yeah, I love myself. No, unless you really know for sure that you do without a doubt, you don't. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
not there 100%. And I think it took all of that, the fixing the trauma, the inner child work, until I could really, because you can say affirmations all you want, you can write a mission statement, but you're going to feel an imposter until you truly love yourself. You can sit with yourself in any situation and know, I got this because I got me and all my weird parts and all my things and everything that I own, my shame, my codependency that I stopped making myself wrong for. That was another big step of like, I'm so codependent. I'm like, well, who the fuck cares? A lot of us are codependent.
The shame was dropped.
Right. And
That's
yeah,
part of the healing, isn't it?
the shame was the biggest one. And then so then when I truly felt the self-love, like you'll know it when you feel it. Like I truly got there and was like, now I can feel my intuition. Now I can trust myself. Now I know, we start out with naming our values, and that really, like, you think, yeah, I value that, but am I really good at it? All these things, you're the self-doubt. But once you do that healing work, and then the self-love truly comes in for real, and then oh yeah, no, I really am about these values and I really can do this and I know that I'm right. And like you said, now I can't stop listening to my intuition. Now it's so loud, it's a driving force, and you
Yeah.
just feel such a passion. Now I just can't stop.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah.
cool. What was going on in your life around the time you jumped in to work with us?
I was in a separation situation. My ex had already left. It wasn't a should I stay or should I go? I knew the separation was done.
And so both of you did this, or was it
Well,
his call?
the codependency was strong for both of us. And so I finally was just like, I need to get off this roller coaster of beating myself up for wanting to move on or talk to other people or whatever. And we just need to be done. I don't want to hurt you anymore. I don't want to beat myself up anymore. And we have two great kids. And I will say that's the other thing. I did this for me and for him, but I also did it for my kids because I want them to see a healthy relationship. I never got to see a healthy relationship in my parents, I don't feel. I'd love for them to see that for both of us at some point. But the other huge thing out of this is that now I can hold space for their emotions. I can hold space for mine. I can
Yeah.
hold space for my acting. Is
Add
more
all of this stuff, and that's what was going on in your
right,
life at the time. Can you
right.
describe your state in 3 or 4 words? If you could. There was COVID.
Very,
You guys went through like a breakdown in the relationship. There was guilt. There was shame. You were really anxious.
yeah, very anxious, a complete people pleaser. Even though I knew I was doing this for me, I still want to make sure, I was bending over backwards to make him happy, make the kids happy. But I was going all about it. Now, now when I look back, I was dismissing my children a lot for their feelings going through this. And now I can hear them when they're
Mm,
angry. I can hear them when they're sad. I can hold
yeah.
space for them for that. I mean, that's amazing. And I can see them holding space for me now. I've taught them how to self regulate. We co regulate. I mean, there's so much that I've been able to pass on, cycle breaker. I have been able to pass that down to my kids. I
That's
mean,
huge.
my kids will ask me, Mommy, are you upset or was that just a regulating breath? And I go, that was a
How old are
regulating
they?
breath.
How old are they?
My daughter just turned 9
Oh
yesterday,
my
and she
gosh.
asked me that. And I said,
Wow.
yeah. And then she goes,
Amazing.
oh, Mommy, I do those regulating breaths too. They really work. I
That's
said, I know,
amazing.
right?
That's
Yeah.
so
So
cool. What made you decide to work with me specifically over somebody else? What was it about it?
I've been going to a therapist, and she had gotten me so far.
She's
And
smart.
I had gotten to a point where I just needed more. I needed somebody that could push me more, something that was really making me think. I started watching you on YouTube, and I'm like trying to scribble furiously so I don't forget stuff, and then I watch it again. Then I know that's something that's really resonating with me. It's really something I need to look into. It just felt like it was pushing me to the next level. I didn't want to be seen and heard necessarily, yes, but I needed to be challenged and pushed out of where I was.
Was that the experience you felt that you were having with the traditional kind of counseling and therapy? What
Right.
was the distinction for you there?
She was, kind of mirroring this validation. She would validate me and then she would tell me how to validate my children, that kind of thing. So it was good to talk to somebody like that, but then eventually you just feel like, okay, I'm just giving her money to listen to me. My friends will listen to me. My dog will listen to me, but I'm paying this person
You
to
wanted
just
tools.
listen.
You wanted
Yeah,
tools.
I needed
Yeah.
tools and I needed something that I knew I could use even when I wasn't with that person. You teach us skills that we can use when we're out in real life. I get triggered by something. I get a text from my ex and I want to break shit. Yeah. And instead of breaking shit, I take some breaths
Yeah,
and I think about it and I
yeah,
become curious about my thoughts and then I
yeah,
become curious about him and instead of reacting,
yeah.
I breathe and wait and I respond. And then weirdly, he responds and he wasn't even in the program. So
Wow.
it's just a butterfly effect. All the
Yes.
people in my life are like, what are you doing? Which you're so different. It's this glow up. I'm like, do I look different? I feel different on the inside.
That's it. Your
Yeah.
inner game is different. This works like weight loss.
Yeah.
It's like when you've lost 30 pounds, you don't have to walk around going, hey, everybody, look at me. It just shows.
Right.
And when we deal with our inner world and learn how to regulate, all of a sudden you can't help but have that impact on others. So
Right.
that's perfect. So what happened during the time that we were working together as far as like breakthroughs or epiphanies?
Well, so a big chunk of what I went through is tied to my mom. And we all have parents who did their best, and I can see that now. So the empathy for her, which it had always been tough for me to have, and seeing the duality there of like, yeah, I'm a victim, but so is she. It's the empathy piece, but it was also learning things like I'm not responsible for her and her feelings. That was a big one for me. So going back and loving myself in those moments, and I was very ashamed for deciding to leave my ex, right? Like, I'm doing this to my family. I'm blowing this up. I better not fuck
Guilt.
this up. I better
Yeah.
do it right, right? And then you said, see the duality of it, and didn't go back to your 24-year-old self that married him. Didn't she do the right thing at the right time? And then you realize you can love yourself at all these different stages that you think
Yeah.
that you were, you beat yourself up about, and you go back and go, you did what you were supposed to do at that time,
Yeah.
or just to see the different sides of it. And then you learn that maybe you don't have to be ashamed of that. And then it was completely freeing. And then
Yeah.
that was the huge catalyst of just loving myself completely
Yeah.
unconditionally.
Sounds like you'd been carrying the shame. What happened after that and what's going on in your life right now as a
At
result?
that same time, I was stuck in this, we call it trauma bond. People throw that around, but I was stuck in this with a partner that I couldn't let go because it was focused on the physical aspect. And that part was so fulfilling. And then I realized that I really just truly wasn't honoring myself, even though I thought I was. I thought, oh, I'm just having fun. We're just doing this. But inside, I was screaming, like, what are you doing? This
Yeah.
is, you said you want a secure relationship. That was one of your values, and you're yourself over. So
You were able to break from that trauma bond.
I did. And then it was completely freeing. Once I let go of that shame, I could let go of that person so quickly and easily. It was just like a switch.
Yeah.
And like he would even text me, call me, like, this is so frustrating for me. Oh, I'm really sorry, but I'm focused on me and exactly
Yeah.
what I want every second. And now I'm starting a business and now I don't have time for you
Yeah. Amazing. And as a
after that.
result of putting yourself first, what's now going on? Because you have an exciting new
Yes.
development as a result of connecting with that intuition, learning how to say yes to you, not abandon yourself, break
Yeah.
that codependent like trauma bond. What's now happening?
Starting my cookie business that I've been talking about for years. I do it on a small scale. I sell to like other teachers every Christmas, but now I'm going to be selling alongside my friend at like all of the area markets.
So this came out of your intuition. You were like, I'm doing this. And
I'm doing
would
this.
you
I'm
say
buying a
it?
bigger vehicle. I'm making this happen. Whatever steps that need to happen now are happening because
Sounds
I
like
don't
you're
have a choice.
unstoppable.
Yes.
So would
Yeah.
you say that that's been, I guess that's kind of the side effect of doing the healing work, isn't it? Is a
Right.
connection
Now I
to,
feel unstoppable. There's no fear. Like, and I was so, perfectionist, fear of failing. I'm an imposter. Like, how can you possibly do any of this? And now I'm like, how could I not? Of course,
yeah,
I'm doing this. All of this makes sense. This is what you want to do anyway. So,
beautiful. And so how do you
yeah.
feel in 3 to 4 words?
Amazing, obviously, is the word that comes, like, just amazing. I feel whole, and I just feel like love. I feel like just there's so much love for everybody, love for myself, and then it's so much easier to love everybody else.
So what would you say
Yeah.
to anyone who's kind of listening in, who's watching, about kind of doing the work and applying and working with us, and who would benefit the
Right.
most?
I think at first when I started, I was worried about, the word work seems like it's going to be a lot of hard work, and it is, but first of all, of course, it's worth it. It's worth every tear, every penny, every minute you spend, just through the community. I want to say this: the community is worth it in and of itself, only because you get to learn from other people's celebrations, but you also get to learn from their mistakes, right? I could watch people on the call and go, look what they did, you know, and go,
It's part
wow.
of it.
And they learn from that. So I'm going to not do that, so
Yeah.
you always say, put your hand up if you can relate. And we're all like, hands, all hands, but I'm going to have an amazing cookie business. I wouldn't have had that if I hadn't have done this. I have these amazing relationships now. My relationship with my mother is much better. Am I a completely different person than the first time you met me?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Is there any final words you'd like to say to somebody who's kind of on the fence, about the process?
I say this with complete sincerity, and it sounds cliche, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. And thank God, because I'm a completely different person. My life has now veered off into this amazing path that it would not have been if I hadn't met you, if I hadn't been a part of this program. There are not other programs that can do what you do. There just aren't.
Amazing. Thank you so much, my dear.
All right. Thanks so much.